today's lesson in exponents is scientific notation. And mathematicians, they developed this method of writing very large and very small numbers into this compact method. And you will be using this a lot more as you get into science as well, because you'll be studying like atoms and things and so on. So very, very small numbers. So we have to be able to put them into this method called scientific notation. All right, and all it is moving the decimal place. So here in our first example, we have this really large number, and the decimal place for it would be right at the end of the number. There's no other decimal place shown. It's a whole number, so our decimal place is there. So what we want to do to convert it to scientific notation is we want to move the decimal place behind, it says here behind the first non-zero digit. What I usually say is we want a number between 1 and 10. So we're going to move this decimal place. We're going to count the decimal places right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So notice I've put the decimal place so it becomes 8.7. All right, now keeping note of how many decimal places we moved, we're going to multiply that by 10 to the power of 10. All right, so this 10 for the exponent is how many decimal places we moved. All right, that number becomes the exponent, how many times you move the decimal. The other thing to note is if you move the decimal to the left, the exponent is positive. So as we just did, we moved our decimal to the left, so our exponent was positive. If we move our decimal to the right, the exponent becomes negative. So basically, large numbers will have a positive exponent, and then small numbers that are less than 1 will have negative exponents. So let's work on the next one. This is also a whole number. It's a large number. Our decimal place is here. So we're going to move the decimal place to 7.42. So we want the decimal place to become right there. So now we're going to count our decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've moved 8 decimal places. So our number is 7.42 times 10 to the power of 8. All right, so again, we moved our decimal place to the left. Therefore, our exponent is positive. All right, so our next example, number 3, we can see it's a very small number. It's less than 1. So we're moving our decimal place to the right this time, and we want to put it right there so it becomes 7.3. All right, so let's count our decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 decimal places to bring this to 7.3, and it will be times 10 to the power of negative 8. All right, so this time it is a negative exponent, right? Because it was a smaller number and also because we moved the decimal place to the right. All right, the next number, this example here, it is a large number. It's not less than 0, but it is negative. So don't worry about that negative. Don't let that confuse you that there's a negative there. We still have to take our decimal point from here, and we have to put it right there to make it between 1 and a number between 1 and 10. So let's count our decimal places for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So negative 2.7 times 10 to the power of 14. Okay, so again, that negative just stays there. It's still a large number, and we're moving to we're moving our decimal place to the left, so the exponent is a positive. Okay, and our last one on this slide. Okay, so just to note for the recording, I did write down the rest of the digits there. So it is negative 2.763 times 10 to the power of 14. All right, our next example is a number less than 1. So we are moving our decimal place to the right, and we want it right here to make it 5.08. So we're moving it 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places to the right. So that becomes 5.08 times 10, and our exponent will be negative, so times 10 to the power of negative 4. Don't forget the negative there because it is a small number, a number that's less than 1, and we also move the decimal place to the right. All right, so for the first one here, we're writing it in standard form. So we would just start by writing out the number like this. And we know it's a positive exponent, so we know it's a large number, so we just have to move in the opposite direction. So we're just going to move to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fill that with a 0. That becomes 53,560. All right, our next one here, it's 46.986, and it's a negative exponent, meaning it's a small number. So we're moving our decimal in the opposite direction to what we were doing before. So we're going to move it back, left 2 places. So the number is 0.46986. All right, and the last one, 10 to the power of 0 is just 1. So you're just basically left with 7.257 times 1, which is just 7.257. All right, try these ones next. So now you're going to express these numbers in scientific notation. All right, so our first one here, this example, we're putting it into scientific notation. So our decimal place is here, and we want to put the decimal place right there to create a number, or to make the number between 1 and 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. All right, so that becomes 6.673 times 10 power of negative 4. The next one here, we're moving our decimal place to make that 5.2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 5.2 times 10 to the power of 10. And the last one, it's 0.845. So we just need to move it 1 place to put it here. So it becomes 8.45. So just 1 decimal place. So that becomes 8.45 times 10 to the power of negative 1.